Hello guys, welcome back to Chaotic and Witchy. As always, I'm incredibly grateful to have you here with me today. And today we're going to be looking at what messages your spirit guides have for you this week, what advice, insight we can pull from tarot, what you need to know, what you might be struggling with, and anything else that will fall in place when we start to look at these cards. So this is going to be a general reading. We're just going to see at what insights the cards and the universe have for you this week. I'm incredibly excited. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me on this channel. I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. But most importantly, do let me know in the comments below whether the reading resonated, whether it was helpful to you, as well as what other readings you would like to see from me on this channel. I would very much appreciate it. So go ahead, meditate on a pile, make your selection, and I will see you in a little bit. Hello and welcome to your reading pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm going to start out by letting you know the song that I picked, and it is Love I'm Given by Ellie Goulding. It's a very wonderful song. You should definitely listen to it, and it fits this reading perfectly. I'm going to start off by saying that what these cards are telling me is you are somebody who really attracts people into your sphere, into your energy. I think you're somebody who gives a lot. I have the Queen of Cups. I have the Queen of Pentacles. This is incredibly emotionally fulfilled, stable, nurturing energy. And I have both of these queens present here. And I think quite strongly that the message for you today is all about how you've been giving and giving to people. And perhaps you're somebody who is very approachable. You like to give advice. People come to you and flock around you for assistance, for guidance. You're someone who's quite wise and thoughtful. You lend a listening ear. People can feel like they can unfold all of their burdens with you. They can share to you, and you tend to give incredible advice, incredible guidance. The reason why I'm sensing this, aside from the two queens that are present here, is this 10 of Pentacles card here. And if you take a really close look at this card, you will see that there's people circling around this beautiful tree that is blossoming. Now, this is a card of abundance, wholeness, completion, success. But really how I am reading this card is just based on the images. I feel like you are somebody who people are drawn to, who people are pulled towards, and you have this incredible effervescent energy that lets people know that you are somebody they can be open with. I'm hearing that you can keep secrets. People divulge really personal information to you. They share a lot with you. They come to you when their life is in detriment, and when they're struggling, when they're having a difficult time, and they know that you are somebody who will listen, who will be receptive, and who will provide very wonderful guidance and feedback. Perhaps you do that as part of your job. I'm hearing that some of you may work in counseling, you may work around children, you may work in an area where people come to you a lot and frequently and share with you. And one of the other things that I am seeing is you're somebody who internalizes quite a lot of what other people unload upon you. You're somebody who really cares. You worry about people. You check in on people. You're constantly reaching out and trying to ensure that your community, your friends, your loved ones are safe and secure. You go out of your way to really make sure that they are fulfilled, that their needs are met. I'm hearing that you're somebody who opens up their home to your friends. You're usually the gathering place for your friends. You're usually the one that's making food, that's preparing drinks. You are the one who is really attracting people into your sphere. But one of the other things that is coming through really strongly here, at least for me, is that you're represented by this Page of Cups and Nine of Swords energy. Now, the Page of Cups, again, is a very emotionally stable force, but there is a bit of naivete and youthfulness that comes with the Page of Cups. And what happens when you are so naive, youthful. You don't necessarily have to be a young person. That's not what it represents. Just that you are somebody that has these characteristics that young people tend to possess, this naivete, this openness. And one of the things that the Page of Cups can represent is a lack of boundaries, is that you are constantly allowing other people and their emotions to encircle you, and you're offering yourself up to other people often. You're giving love to people. You're empowering people. You have love and empowerment here. You have this very beautiful energy. And again, this love card almost kind of mirrors this Page of Cups energy, because she looks very youthful. She looks very soft, very gentle, incredibly approachable. But the problem with that is that I believe you're being left out, and there is no such equivalent for you. I feel like that while you are giving away all of your time, emotion, energy, attention, forethought, and you're giving and blossoming like this beautiful tree over here, I think that you are being stifled by this Nine of Swords energy. I feel like you're somebody who really internalizes your own pain, and because you are the source of reprieve for so many other people, you do not seem to have that equivalent within your life, at least not now. And you find yourself going through these emotions, this pain, and this tribulation alone. As you can see, I believe this is the only card where there's this community, and this community is formed around this tree, and I believe that this tree is you. However, the Nine of Swords is alone and lonely. The Page of Cups seems to be lonely. The Three of Wands, which represents you focusing on the horizon, your opportunities. It's a very interesting depiction here as well, because she is depicted in this cave. She's surrounded by all of these bats. She's lonely. And it's interesting because sometimes this card, you will see it depicted as somebody standing and they're looking out into a horizon, or they're looking out of a window and there's all of this beautiful light and excitement. But here in this particular deck, as you will see, it is quite lonely. And in fact, wow, I'm looking at it closely now, it looks like she's a vampire and she's drained this man right here. And what a beautiful representation for what I'm saying, because I feel like you're feeling very drained. And while this card is typically a card looking to the horizon, looking to the beauty and prosperity of the future, I see you as somebody who's very drained. I see you as this person right here, that there's something that is draining you, that is emptying you, and that you don't really clearly see the opportunity, the horizon, the beauty that is in front of you, the force that's supposed to propel you forward, to give you that energy, that enthusiasm, that spark. I think you're very, very drained, Pile One, and I think a lot of it is because you are absorbing all of these other people's problems, all of these other people's energies, and it's not being reciprocated, and you're feeling incredibly worn down. You're feeling incredibly lonely. You're feeling like your opportunities and your needs are being eclipsed by those of others, and there isn't someone there for you to do what you do for others, is what I am sensing, because you draw so many people in, and there's this expectation of love and camaraderie and support when it comes to you, that your needs are not being fulfilled. Your desires are not being met. Now, what Spirit wants you to know is that it's time to release negativity. Do not carry that which is not yours. Try to draw some boundaries. If there are people that are constantly making expectations of you, if there are people that are constantly coming to you as their lighthouse and their place to rest, their place to unload, but they're not reciprocating, perhaps it's time to pull back a little bit, because what happens when you are only absorbing other people's negativity and that isn't being returned to you, you will get worn down. You will be this card right here, this Three of Wands, which again is very unusual for this particular tarot, because the Three of Wands is all about looking towards the horizon, being propelled into future possibility, but it's depicting someone who's drained, who is, you know, while this person has obviously sucked out all of the life force out of them, they're feeling wonderful, they're beautiful, they're glowing, but you are the person here right at her feet. You are someone who is not being cared for in the way that you deserve. The other thing that Spirit wants you to know is to have patience. You do need to move away from this energy a little bit. You need some time to restore and replenish your needs. You need people to take care of your needs because you have been giving so much to others. And you need to have patience both with yourself. If you're struggling emotionally, if you're struggling with your mental health, if you are not doing so well because you're out there caring for other people, you need to retreat a little bit, take a step back, and wait for a time which is coming when somebody's going to give back to you what you have been putting out there. And because you're somebody who has worked so hard for other people and their interests and their needs, I do believe that this is coming for you soon. And the universe is asking you to be patient and not to give away so much of yourself that you're drained dry, that you do not have that support that you need to move forward, that you need to keep you moving, keep you strong, keep you empowered. You're too busy empowering other people. You're too busy focusing on other people. And if those people are not doing the same for you, you need to take a step back, build up those boundaries, regain your strength, reanimate yourself, move away from this Nine of Swords energy, try to rebuild that which has been stripped from you because you are doing too much. You're doing a lot. You are a caregiver. You are a loving person, but you cannot allow yourself to be drained in this way. It will not last. You will not be able to move forward and be the rock that people look up to, the rock that people need. That is your message for you, pile one. That is what you need to know. And I'm seeing it quite strongly here in this pile. You need to find a way to regain your strength so that this Three of Wands energy can look different, because you do need to move forward. You need to build your future. You need to look towards your horizon and your joy and your happiness, but you cannot do it if you're continuously giving yourself away to people who are not reciprocating that. That is the message I have for you, pile one. It's really, again, if this is not resonating, I think that this message is very specific for a certain individual who needs to hear this, because I do think that there is someone here who is really giving too much and is really emoting this Queen of Emotions, Queen of Materials, which is Pentacles and Cups in this particular deck, energy, which is nurturing, stable, solid, loving, emotionally embracing, fulfilling. But I do think that you are somebody who is doing that for others and not really turning that inward, and you need to take care of yourself, pile one. That is the message I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me here. Like and subscribe if you wish. Let me know if this reading resonated, and I hope to see you again soon. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile two. Thank you so much for joining me. I am, as always, very incredibly grateful to have you here with me today. I'm going to start out, as I always do, with the song that I picked for you, and it is In Bottles by Aurora, and holy smokes, it's a perfect song for this pile. Pile two, I don't know if you realize it or not, but I believe you're going through an incredible spiritual transformation. And one of the things that I am seeing here is that there is a bit of a disconnect between your spiritual energy, your wand energy, as well as the physical material energy. So one of the things I'm seeing represented by the Hierophant, and what the Hierophant represents is sometimes it can represent old ways of thinking, old establishments and institutions, or a spiritual journey that you're very firmly rooted in, something that you truly value above all else, something that is so incredibly valuable, transcendent, that it is very spiritually important to you. So one of the things that I am seeing here, pile two, is that you are going through a transformation, and some of you may be going through a transformation that is against the grain of the norm. So for example, if you were someone who was raised in very firm-rooted religious traditions, you know, the status quo, the major religious traditions, you are starting to walk away from it. And it is something that you are scared of. You're experiencing things you did not know were possible. You are having a psychic transformation. We have psychic abilities here. And one of the reasons why I think the song In Bottles is so fitting is that the song really talks about hiding something, covering it up, putting it, you know, she goes, hide me under your spine, which to me seems to be that whatever the spiritual transformation is it's building up your strength, your confidence, your resilience. And it is a little bit terrifying because you are going against the status quo. You are reshaping your reality and forging a path which was not present with you when you were a child. This was not the way you grew up. You are learning and inhabiting a new way of thinking. And I think that for some of you, you're drifting from this religious tradition and you're being reborn into something new. And it is scaring the crap out of you. It is exciting and enticing, but it is also something that is frightening and paralyzing because you're starting to have experiences that are really shaking the foundations upon which you were raised. For some of you, I think that is the case because I am seeing psychic abilities and that she's opened her third eye and she has all of this strength in front of her, all of this power. But I feel like you are being held down with old ways of thinking nonetheless. And I think that there's a bit of a disconnect between your spirituality and your material goals. I think you're somebody who's very skilled. I think you're somebody who is in a career that is going to offer you a lot of prosperity, or you're studying in a field that is going to offer you a lot of prosperity. And what I am sensing is that it's leaving you very hollow. It is leaving you hollow because the Ten of Pentacles card is all about this complete, fulfilled success, this financial stability. You have all of the fruits of your labor represented here, blossoming on the trees. But right at the center of this card is this hollow, this emptiness. I feel like you're somebody who is not satisfied with the rat race. You're not satisfied with chasing material goals. While you are successful at it, if you are not yet, you will be. You are somebody who's going to have what the Ten of Pentacles represents, this stability, this wholeness, this material success. But at the same time, there is this glaring hollow at the very center of the card. And I think what you're doing in your day-to-day, in your waking life, is disconnected from your spirituality because you might be doing something that is not connected to your spiritual interest and your beliefs. Perhaps you have a day job that is very draining, stressful, anxiety-inducing, complicated. And yes, it gives you a lot of financial stability. It gives you that necessary, financial income that you need to do other things, but ultimately it's leaving you absent in some regards. There is a hollow here at the center of this card. And I do have the King of Pentacles, which affirms to me you are somebody who is financially successful. You are somebody who is striving for your future, for your goals, to be firmly rooted in the things that society unfortunately values sometimes above all else. This financial success, this career drive, your reputation, your status, the job that you're going to do. And I feel like it is causing you a lot of grief because there is a disconnect between you and your spirituality, your psychic abilities. And I think some of you are being called to start incorporating some of your spirituality into your daily life, into something where you can be a spiritual teacher and a leader. I do see this Hierophant card as invoking a spiritual teaching. Let me just get closer up here. As you see, she is sitting here on top of this rock structure, and there's this follower looking up to her, and I believe they are listening to her. They want to hear what she has to say. And there are people that are beginning to gather around her and this light illuminating them to her. And I feel like some of you are being called to share your gifts with people, your spiritual gifts. You have psychic abilities. You may be beginning to experience clairaudience, clairvoyance. You're starting to really tap into that world that was so foreign to you growing up, that may not have been part of your day-to-day, that may not have been embraced by your family, your friends, your relatives, people who have this old way of thinking, this old version of the Hierophant, these structures and these authorities and these things that diminish individuality sometimes in a lot of ways and emphasize things that are not so, I want to say self-serving, but not in a negative way. Self-empowering is what I'm looking for. That's the word. Because I feel, as represented here by the Death card, the Death card is not death. It can sometimes represent a loss, but I think in this case, in this particular card, you see this angel almost. And this deck does have a lot of angelic imagery, so don't really necessarily take it to mean that your angels are sad or your guides are disappointed in you. But you see this little child here, and she's looking up at death with this curiosity. She's looking up at this mysterious spiritual force, this powerful spiritual force with such curiosity. And you have almost this dismay or just upset or sadness that is flowing from this person in this card, from this representation. And I feel like you are being represented by this little child. You're starting to look into the unknown. Perhaps you're even developing mediumship abilities. Perhaps you're starting to experience things that are unexplainable. Perhaps spirits are now being drawn to you and energies are being drawn to you, and it's coming to you as a bit of a shock and a surprise because you are not accustomed to it. You're not really sure how to quite speak the spiritual language. But the thing is that this transformation is happening whether you like it or not, and you are being called to open your eyes. You are being called to embrace this spiritual experience. This card is asking you, what do you need to release, pile 2? And you know this better than I do. I see it as you needing to release some kind of stagnant energy, self-doubt. And I'm hearing that you're almost, you don't really believe what's happening to you. You're not really prepared to accept this new world, this new experience, because you are so burdened by this old way of thinking, these thoughts that are not serving you anymore. And you need to release them and open up your eyes to what was once impossible, because it's slowly becoming possible for you, pile 2. I sincerely think that you are being called to open up your eyes, to become more aware, more attuned, because what's going to happen is represented by the 7 of Wands card. Now, the 7 of Wands is all about overcoming challenges, burdens, really powering through the difficulties, the obstacles in our way, knocking them down. You are certainly in that process. And why I really love this card is because she's pushing away the darkness so that this light can break through. She's forcing the darkness away so that she can have this horizon, this color, this light, this new experience. And I think that that is exactly what you're doing right now, pile 2. But there's definitely obstacles in the way, whether they're your self-doubts. Perhaps you have experiences and they're very powerful and transformative. And then there's a long period of time where you will not have an experience and you'll think, okay, was that a fluke? Do I just disregard that? Do I just ignore my intuition, my gut feeling? Is this all nonsense? Is this all hooey? You're being told that no, this is a process. This is a process of rebirth and change. You are definitely going to move towards a spiritual awakening. You're going to get stronger and stronger in your psychic ability. You're going to have a lot more experience that you will want to discredit, that you will want to brush off as coincidences, flukes, but they're not. Your guides want you to know right now, these are not flukes. You should follow your intuition. You should listen to what messages you are receiving through clairaudience or clairvoyance, what thoughts are coming into your head unexpected, because that's really the difficult part, is discerning what is my voice and what is the spiritual voice. Well, they're often one and the same. You shouldn't disconnect them. Just because a thought comes into your mind and you're not able to locate the source, or you're able to pull away from it, do not shy away from it. This is information that's coming into you, coming towards you. These are experiences that are continuing to evolve and reshape you. And I do think that there is a disconnect between your spiritual life, your spiritualities, as well as your profession, potentially, what you are studying, what you're learning, and what you are working on in terms of the material field. So you might need to start uniting those two things so that you can strengthen those two things. They should not be disconnected. We can certainly incorporate parts of our spirituality into our day-to-day, or alternatively, if your work, your study does not allow for that, perhaps you need to do something on the side that will help you grow those skills and talents, that will help you develop them. That is really what I'm hearing, because you have the blessings card here. You are blessed. And what I'm hearing is you have a lot of spiritual gifts, whether you're aware of it or not. You have spiritual gifts. They are slowly flowing into you. And the only interference that we give our spiritual gifts is the interference we create ourselves. This is the interference of self-doubt, questioning, not trying to rationalize or explain things. You know, with this Pentacles energy, with this physical world energy, with this energy of well, this is a fluke, I can explain this away. Perhaps there's also people in your life who are represented by this old way of thinking, this traditional way of thinking, that will discredit and dismiss your experiences. You need to start gradually moving away from that and releasing that which no longer serves you. And in terms of the financial, physical plane, the things that you're working on to build your life, to build your success, this King of Pentacles energy, this Ten of Pentacles energy, you need to relax a little bit and shift your focus ever so slightly. Obviously don't walk away from things that are providing you financial support. They're still important. Again, you have the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. Whatever you're doing in your waking day, in your job, in your career, in your studies is valid. It is important, but you cannot let it hollow you out. You cannot let it empty you of your spirituality, of your spiritual strength. And you are called to practice relaxation. You have the relaxation card. You are being called to meditate, to go inside, go internally, and listen to the voices that are coming from within. That is what you're being called to do, pile 2. And if there is a disconnect, and if there is interference with your spiritual awakening, you have to assess where that's coming from and release it if it is necessary. To stop listening to people who are discrediting your experiences, who are laughing at your experiences, who think that, it's all a joke, this is all just a phase, this is all nonsense, because these experiences are happening to you. Your guides are communicating with you. They're trying to open your third eye, and it is going to continue to open gradually with time, and you're going to get better at this, more confident at this, and more reassured that what you are experiencing is real and is tangible. That is what I have for you, pile 2. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this reading. Leave a comment down below if this reading resonated, and let me know what readings you would like to see from me in the future. Hello and welcome, pile 3, to your reading. I'm incredibly grateful to have you here with me today, and I'm going to start out, as I always do, with the song that I picked for you. And the song that I picked is Hymn by Kesha. So I'm very excited to get into this reading for you, pile 3. It is very exciting, and I feel like this is a reading and a message you have been looking for quite some time. So I'm going to start out with what I see. Now, what I see here is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Muse of Cups, the Page of Cups, rather. So what I'm getting really, really strongly is that you are somebody who is bursting with beautiful ideas, and they are calling you to action. They are really filling your mind. They are circling in your mind. You cannot take your mind off of them. You're sensing this great deal of clarity, creativity, and inspiration. But I think that for some of you, you are also represented by this Page of Cups energy. Now, the Page of Cups energy is very much akin to being someone who is quite young, who is quite naive. You don't have to be young. But whatever endeavor you're about to embark on, it is new. It is represented by the aces. It is definitely something where you may not be quite rooted, quite aware of. You may not be the most, I suppose, expert in this area, and you're really being bogged down with your doubts, with this naivete, with this sort of newness that you're trying to embark on, and it is causing you a lot of anxiety. It is causing you a lot of stress, and while you have these ideas, you are really putting up barriers and obstacles in your way, or perhaps there are other people that are putting up barriers and obstacles in your way. So for example, if you have this idea and you're talking about it with your family, and you're talking about it with your friends, people are kind of saying like, okay, yeah, great, but what about this? Like, don't you want to have this sure thing? Don't you want to follow this path, which is definitely going to lead you to where you definitely want to be? This is going to be stable and reliable, and your ideas are kind of kooky, and they're kind of wild, and they're kind of out there, and people might be really bogging you down with that. You're trying to bring your ideas into motion, but you're also creating this self-doubt. You're putting barriers in your way that do not need to be there. And for that reason, you're really struggling to commit to this idea. We have the commitment card. You're being called to commit to what it is that is swimming around in your head. You're being called to commit to your creativity. You're being called to commit to this brand new beginning that you want to embark on. I mean, you don't have to abandon everything that is stable, sturdy, and certain, but certainly the path that you're contemplating, these ideas that you are fixated on, these ideas that are represented by these beautiful aces, you need to start moving towards them, because I do have the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is all about looking towards this horizon and contemplating, but sometimes the Two of Wands is represented by somebody who's just standing there. They're standing there, they've got the two wands, one in each hand, and they're staring towards the horizon. They're looking towards the future. They're trying to envision what it's going to look like, but they're not quite mobilizing yet. They are very much in this energy that is fixed, contemplative, full of thought. You're envisioning the potential. You have so many cards of beginnings, potential, and it seems to me that you're not really propelling yourself forward. You're not committing, and you're looking for answers. I have the answers card, which is why I said I think this is a reading you've been looking for, because I sincerely think that you're someone who's been watching a lot of pick-a-cards. You've been pulling your own tarot. You have been looking at spiritual texts. You've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. You've been trying to find that thing that will give you the confidence and the inspiration and the go-ahead, because you are contemplating and not really moving forward. You're a little bit fixed in place. And the reason why I think you're fixed in place is represented by this Five of Cups. Oopsie, this Five of Cups energy. The Hierophant really wants me to get to her, and I will. This one is and I think the Five of Cups is one of the saddest cards in the tarot. The Five of Cups is all about disappointment, failure, regret, pain, really feeling heavy and burdened and sad and let down. So what I'm sensing for you is either you do not have the support that you need in your life currently to move you forward, to mobilize you. You're feeling a lack of confidence. You're feeling a little bit sad and worn down. You may have already tried to manifest this idea into real life, and you're struggling with bringing it forward. You're really struggling in bringing it to fruition. You're having a very difficult time. But what really needs to happen is you need to focus, and you need to start moving. You need to start taking the steps that are necessary to, at the very least, begin. Because the hardest thing in doing anything, literally anything, whether it's study, work, whether it is trying to bring an idea that you have into action, is those first initial steps. Those are the most horrifying steps. Those are the most terrifying, because we cannot anticipate the future. We cannot tell exactly how this is going to go. We cannot say for sure if, there's always the hesitation of like, okay, well, I'll begin when I am 100% ready and I have all of my ducks in a row and I have read every book on the subject, or I've practiced, and I've perfected it. And I'm hearing that some of you are perfectionists. You are people who are very fixated on making sure that these mistakes, disappointments, and failures do not recur. You are people who really want to ensure that their plan is set. That's why I have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is also a very deep planning card. It's all about thinking, contemplating, and imagining. But really what you need to do is start doing. Take those initial steps. If you're trying to do something and it is not the norm, it is against the grain, you're not quite sure, you're not quite perfect at it, it doesn't matter. You have to start working on it and building on it, because you have the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords represents cutting away through the fog and the mystery, cutting away through all of the doubts, all of the questions, and starting a new beginning. That is why the Ace of Swords emerges from a cloud. That is why it cuts through the cloud. And you have this crown at the very top of the ace, which shows you that this idea is both divinely inspired, it is meant for you, and it is going to bring you great success. It is going to inevitably allow you to have the success that you are seeking. But I feel like some of you are still focused on perfecting things. You're focused on getting just the right idea. Just, you know, if you're filming something, you want just the right shot. You want the shot to come out perfectly. You want the edit to be precise. If you're writing music, you want the song to be perfect. You want everything to fit in place. But that really comes with time and practice. You have to give yourself room to grow. You have to fail. You have to struggle. You have to have difficulties, and you have to embrace that sometimes in order for you to get going, in order for you to even start creating something that you are being called to create, you are being called to move your thoughts and ideas forward. That is really coming out strong because you have a time to give rather than take card. And one of the things that this card really indicates is, yeah, you have to start moving. You have to start giving. And I think for some of you, because I do have a Hierophant card here, and the Hierophant card can represent mentorship. It can represent setting an example and being that rooted, grounded energy for others in a lot of ways. Perhaps you're doing something that is in the spiritual realm or involves the spiritual realm, or you're trying to be someone that people look up to. In a way, perhaps you're trying to take a position of influence. So you may be trying to go out on social media and establish yourself there as a place for your art and your creativity. That could be one way to read it, but you can also be pursuing a career, a study wherein you will have influence and you will have a reputation and people will look up to you and you will be listened to and you are going to be a leader and a cornerstone. You need to stop fretting about being imperfect, even if you are seeking a position of influence where people will look up to you, because sometimes people are most drawn to people who are imperfect just as they are, that have quirks, that have differences. And I think that you are really having a hard time taking that very first step. You need to start taking that first step. And you do have the focus card here. And the focus card does not mean just sit and contemplate. It means focus your energies and your attentions, look at what you're trying to do, and really get going. You have, I believe it is the snow leopard, but I might have my cats wrong. The snow leopard doesn't sit and wait for anything or anybody to tell it when the right time is. It just goes and it does and it exists. And it is going to propel itself into movement and action. And it is going to be exactly how it should in its organic state. And what it is that you're being called to is your organic state. It is something that is going to help you feel whole, complete, energized, and give you purpose. I also see this mountain behind this, I'm going to call it a snow leopard. I really hope that's what it is, behind this leopard. And what that mountain represents is it could represent obstacles. There could be obstacles in your way, but really, quite frankly, I'm sensing that the only obstacle in your way is you. And that is usually the case. There are ways we can break through all of our insecurities so that we can propel ourselves into doing what we want. And sometimes a lot of the barriers that are built up, yes, they can be external. Like I said, you can have friends and family who are saying this idea is, you know, silly. How are you going to make this work? It's a competitive field. You don't really have what it takes. Are you sure you're going to be able to do this? And, you know, why don't you just want to do this, which is a sure thing? And look, like, why don't you, you know, why are you trying to do something new? There are definitely obstacles in your way, but you are being called to look beyond them, and you are being called to move towards the thing that you want, because I can tell you have a strong desire for a new beginning here, pile 3, and it is coming your way. So that's what I had for you, pile 3. Move towards what you desire. Move towards manifesting your creative ideas, because they are beautiful. Like I can see here in this Ace of Inspiration, this Ace of Wands card, she has all of this brilliant light emanating from her. She has this really beautiful mind, this creative energy, and you need to share that with the world. That's the other thing that the Hierophant can represent. You have to share your ideas with the world. You have to share your creativity with the world. You have to stop contemplating and start acting. And that's the message I have for you today, pile 3. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. Please leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what readings you want to see from me in the future. And thank you so much, as always, for joining me here today. Hello and welcome to your reading pile 4. I am incredibly grateful to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to start, as I always do, with the song I picked for you for this reading. And a song I picked for you for this reading is Stay by Gracie Abrams. It's a very lovely song. You should check it out. And it does really work well with this reading. So pile 4, number 1, I think that you have been through a lot of pain. And it's the kind of pain that's been inflicted on you by people who are careless, wanton, they're disregarding you, they don't care. They really do not understand or comprehend the ways in which they have hurt you sometimes. They are careless. If they do understand, they just simply don't care. They don't want to fix it. They don't want to repent, and they don't want to right the wrongs, because I have the Justice card here. And one of the Justice card can be read in a lot of ways. It can also symbolize a karma that is coming. The Justice card is all about just what it sounds like. It's about imparting justice. It's about being fair and balanced. And it's also a reminder that our actions have consequences. Now, I don't think that this is directed towards you precisely, that you've done something and that you have inflicted pain and that you have to face the consequences, because right underneath it, I have the 10 of Swords. And what makes me think is going on here is that you have been through a lot of pain, a lot of letdowns, that you have really felt like, why am I going through this? I'm trying to put my best self out there. I'm trying to be kind and extend courtesy to people, to brighten people's day, to really try to connect with people, but I'm continually being hurt. For some of you, it's very clearly a romantic relationship. For others, it could just be people in your periphery who are being very careless towards you, who are hurting you, and who do not seem to care. It doesn't seem to be that karma is really taking effect here, but this is a reminder that if you have been hurt, if there have been people who have let you down, who have wounded you, karma is coming. There, your spirit guides have a watchful eye over this situation. It may be a slow build. I've had situations where I was hurt and it took years for the consequence to come out, to manifest, but when it does, it is, well, one hell of a karmic consequence, and you sometimes are even surprised at how quick, expeditious, well, rather not expeditious, but rather how fitting the karma is. And it's almost really surprising when it does take effect, because sometimes we wait a very long time for the people who have hurt us to really suffer for what they have done. Not that that's our wish, not that we want people to suffer. Sometimes all we want is an apology. We want to be able to forgive, but we never see that regret and remorse manifest in the people that are doing this to us, sometimes repeatedly. And I'm feeling that this is happening a lot because you are represented by this Empress energy. You're this bountiful, beautiful, illuminating, gorgeous individual who people are pulled towards, but really effectively what happens is that they're drawn towards you and they use you and they get out of you what they need, and they do not really give back. As you can see, she's really emanating outward. She's not really taking anything in. She's really being the light and the way and the source for others, for something in front of her, for something beyond her. And I feel like a lot of you have really been in situations where you simply give and give and give, and people abuse it, they use it, they do not reciprocate, and you're sitting there going, what the heck? Why? I don't understand. I'm doing all of this. I'm giving all of this to you, but you're really hurting me. You're really letting me down. For some of you, it could be previous romantic partners. For some of you, it can be family members or other places where you feel like you really are being subjected to a lot of pain. And sometimes those of us who endure the most amount of pain are enduring it because we can withstand it and we can grow from it. And it is a lot of learning lessons in order so that we can move on towards things that are better, that are more fitting. And for a lot of you, that is connected to romance, because I do have Lovers and Home represented here. I have the Ace of Pentacles represented here, which again means financial stability, but also earthly stability. It is very much fitting with the Home card because it's all about planting your roots, having a solid foundation, having a place to lay your head that is safe, that is no longer going to be a place where you're anxious, you don't have that stability. I'm hearing that some of you have been in a lot of relationships where you want to have that sturdy, solid foundation, but the other individual does not, or you're trying to build friendships, but people walk away from your life. They use you, get what they want out of you, and then abandon you. They're not really interested in you and investing in you in that very earthly pentacle-like sturdy, firm, rooted energy that the pentacle represents. The thing that I'm seeing here for you is you are trying to manifest a better outcome for yourself. You are trying to bring forth this home energy here, this sturdy foundation, this place to lay your head, this place where you will have comforts and love and support. And it seems really, this is such a cute house. It seems like it's such a perfect place for two people, or a place to raise a family, if that is something that you're interested in. But it seems very lovely. It is isolated. It is protected by all of this wood that surrounds it. It has these beautiful sunflowers. It is honestly what is coming your way. It is a reminder that the pain is going to subside. The individuals who have hurt you, they are going to get their comeuppance. Again, it's not because we wish it to be so. I don't think you're somebody who wants harm upon others, but our actions have consequences. So if you use and abuse people, that energy is going to return to you. There will be a corrective force that comes in, sweeps in, that justice card that is going to rectify the wrongs that have been imposed upon you. And I do think that people really have mistreated you a lot and hurt you a lot in tiny cutting ways. I'm hearing that some of the people that you have been with have tried to control you, to tell you how to be, because they were upset with who you truly were at your heart and in your core. The other thing that I am seeing is because you have had all of this pain and all of this difficulty in your life, you are really fighting through your insecurities and your own demons. I have the Five of Wands here, and the Five of Wands organically represents competition, having to fight, having to face up against someone else, turmoil in that sense. But really what I'm sensing from this card, especially this illustration here, is it's almost as though you're fighting your demons. You're fighting the things that have been imprinted onto you by other people, the misery, the suffering that has been created and thrust upon you, and it is really interfering with your ability to move forward towards something better. Because I have this Lovers card here, which is why I am deeply sensing that a lot of this has a connection to a romantic relationship. Not all of the piles did, but I feel like this one does. And this is such an interesting depiction of the Lovers card, especially because you can see these two people are connected, and this individual is looking at her and he's entranced in her, but she's looking up at this dark silhouetted figure here. And I believe that you are somebody who is really unable to relax and let go of your negative experiences, all of the wrong, all of the harm, and all of the carelessness that has been shown towards you by other people, by people who did not appreciate what they had and wanted to just suck you dry, wanted to take from you instead of give back to you. And you are having a difficult time manifesting or even being comfortable enough to release all of that anxiety and stress. Some of you may be in a relationship and a commitment where all of these things rear their head, all of these problems really, I guess, manifest and interfere and interrupt, because she is not able to be present in this moment. She is not able to be present in this intimate connection, in this relationship, because she's watching over this hooded, shrouded figure, and she cannot focus on what's happening. And I feel like some of you are in a relationship and you're focused too much on your pre-existing pain, or if you're not, this is definitely an interference. You're not going to be able to connect until you are able to work through your fears. You have the Work Through Your Fears card here, pile 4. And this is confirmation that there is something within you that is really eclipsing, like you see here, it's really eclipsed. And you have this shrouded figure that is also eclipsing, in a way, her experience, her enjoyment of this precious moment that she is entangled with someone. She's looking up towards something else. And usually the Lover's card is depicted with an angel standing over it, and it's watching over this union to show that this union is divinely guided. But here it's a little bit darker. It is a little bit more how do I say, it is definitely a depiction that has with it a dark element to it. It is not bright and cheerful. It's not about this beautiful union. It is about being weighed down by something. Now, you are going to have a moment of illumination and clarity. You are going to have release. I do have the illumination card here, so that eclipsing energy is soon going to move away. It is going to lift. And also, this is a reminder to you. I have the talent card here, and I think that that's partly why people are so drawn to you, because I do think that you emit this radiating energy. I think you're somebody who is very talented, who's skilled. People come to you for your resources and your efforts. People come to you for something that you have to give. And I think that that is really what is tying into how people interpret you and your worth in their lives. And the wrong people are going to take that worth, and instead of saying, this is something I really want to invest in, cultivate, and grow with, people have a tendency to come in, insert themselves, opportunize on your talent, on your skill, and abandon you or hurt you, or really do much worse, to take advantage of you and not reciprocate and not really commit into stabilizing your existence, into making sure you are prospering and you're growing. I do feel like this Empress energy is what you are. You are someone who's quite colorful, creative, bright, energetic, and people sweep in and they try to manipulate that and take over that, and that has caused a lot of pain and interference in your life as you're trying to move forward. But this is a message that you do need to work on your fears. You need to start putting things into perspective. You have to focus on this Justice card, that although you may not feel like this is the case right now, everything has its conclusion, everything has its end, and everything has a consequence. As I had mentioned, everything has a consequence. And even if you're not feeling it right now, do remember that it is going to happen, and it's not something you have to worry about. That's all I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing as well. You don't have to worry about it. This is not your burden to carry anymore. You're not responsible for these people. You're not responsible for the ways in which they've treated you. What you're responsible for is focusing on this Ace of Pentacles energy, your future, your abundance, your growth. And really zero in on that. It doesn't mean cut out people who are valuable. There are people who are going to come in and actually be your rocks, but you have to be quite guarded about those who have negative intentions and who are there to just take from you, manipulate you, and leave you with this Ten of Swords energy, this defeated, sad, depressed, lonely energy that can signify betrayal and hurt. That is the message I have for you today, Pile 4. You do have some wonderful things on the horizon. You do have love that's going to be coming in. You are going to manifest this home energy, which is not just a physical home. If you are manifesting a physical home, a living space, this can be a sign, but it is also just that stability, that assurance, that strong household, a place for you to rest your head that is safe. And it is full of the things that are going to light you up and bring you joy and happiness and success and prosperity. But you do have to move away a little bit with focusing on what has been done, how you've been hurt, and heal through it and move through it. Take the lessons you need and continue moving. And if you're finding that you are struggling, you have self-confidence issues, you have concerns and worries, and you're fighting and a lot, whether it is with the person that you love, whether it is with yourself in relation to a situation, you are going to have some relief, and it is not your concern and not your burden to worry about dishing out karma. Your guides have that covered. The universe has it covered. You need to focus on you and moving forward. That is what you should be focusing your attention and intent on. Thank you so much, Pile 4. I really appreciate having you here as always. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this reading. Leave a comment down below and let me know what readings you want to see from me in the future. Hello and welcome, Pile 5, to your reading. I'm incredibly grateful as always to have you here with me. And I'm going to start out by letting you know the song that I picked for you. And it is Same Sea by Lights. It's going to be in the description box below, so do check it out. It is quite fitting for this reading. So Pile 5, holy smokes. I feel very strongly that some of you are about to either embark on a new studious journey. I think some of you are students, and that you're about to enter a field where you're going to study something and really work hard in achieving a goal in this field. I have a sense that whatever it is that you're endeavoring into is a very intellectual exercise. I have the Page of Swords and the King of Swords. So I think that this is a highly authoritative intellectual exercise. I think some of you might be going away to college, to university, or alternatively, because I have the Career and New Beginnings card, some of you are also about to embark on a new career. You're about to take a journey to a new endeavor, a new financial endeavor, because they do have the Four of Pentacles here, and it is going to bring you a lot of prosperity. It is a brand new beginning, and it will involve a degree of intellectual exercise. Now, what that means is, which is why I felt so strongly that some of you are students, or some of you are about to embark on a career that requires a lot of higher level thinking, higher level learning, studying, being very educated, and you're going to be in a position of authority. Now, this might not happen right away. I think because I have the Page of Swords and the King of Swords, and the Page of Swords is a more youthful, naive energy. It is this budding, blossoming energy, which is why, again, I thought that you are students, or you're about to enter into a career where you don't have previous experience. This is a novel experience for you. This is a novel endeavor for you, but you have what it takes to make it, even though you may not necessarily feel this way. And one of the things that I'm really seeing is that you're going to really have to go with the flow, and you're really being pulled by the current towards this destination. There's definitely a pull here towards a certain outcome, and I do think that this is a very career and scholarly based reading if some of you are looking for a new career or you're about to embark on it. I have the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles can represent scarcity, being conservative with your finances. I think that some of you have gone through a period of a lot of financial hardship where you had to be resourceful, and some of you, if you are students, you're about to go to school, you're about to incur debt, you're about to get a little bit more conservative with your spending, and ultimately that is so that you can build this future career, this new beginning, this outcome that you've been working for. And I feel that very strongly the career that you're moving towards, or the study, is going to be very compatible with you. It's going to work quite well for you, because I have the Lover's card here, and the Lover's card, of course, in a romantic reading can represent having somebody who is compatible with you, a divinely guided union, and a romantic connection. But in other ways, it could just show that you're endeavoring into something wherein you're going to be very compatible. You're going to have a lot of success because it's really going to be meant for you. It is going to work for you. It is going to be an endeavor that is going to be fruitful and successful and last quite a long time. I also have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is a beautiful card. And again, that's why I'm thinking studious, or rather a career where there's going to be a bit of a community around you. I'm trying to focus this card. There we go. And really what I'm seeing is that these people are sitting in a circle, they're holding hands. I think you're going to be part of a community or a work group, and there's going to be quite a lot of celebration, enthusiasm, excitement, joy. The Four of Wands is a very beautiful card. It is all about coming to a moment of momentum and happiness and joy, celebration, union with other people. And I do think that for some of you, that is very strongly coming across. Perhaps you're feeling that that's not going to be the outcome. You're feeling very anxious. You might be this Page of Swords energy, and the Page of Swords is full of a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, but it does have that youthfulness that might give it a little bit more of a lack of confidence, a lack of sturdiness, a lack of awareness, and really being firmly rooted in your knowledge and being assured that you have what it takes within this sphere. But the Queen of Cups here is a very stable, flowing energy. It is an energy that is definitely going to guide you, move you along to this place of emotional stability, to this place of just overall general stability. So if you have been concerned about your material wealth, about your money, your financial flow. I have career and new beginnings here. You're definitely walking towards something that is going to be brand new, and it is going to be either a financially supportive role, or you're going to take a longer journey to get there through your schooling, through your studying, through your experiences in learning and growing. If you are going to school, that is what you're working towards. You're working towards this brand new, beautiful beginning, your future, I'm hearing. You're working towards your future, and it is coming. The thing that really Spirit wants you to know is that your energy is gaining momentum. So I think that you're someone who has already put in a lot of work and effort in this area. You may have been building towards it. You may have been forming your life around it, and now it is really starting to move forward. You're going to start seeing signs from the universe, I'm hearing. You're going to start seeing synchronicities. And really what you need to know is to be assured that this is meant for you. This is your destiny. And even though you may feel hardships at times, you are going to get there. I'm also seeing 3 birds here, and I'm seeing this 4 of Pentacles here. I think you're going to be supported by a group of people, perhaps 3 or 4 people. There's going to be a tight-knit community around you that is going to actively support you in your goals and in your journey. I'm so sorry, there might be a lot of background noise today. There's just quite a lot of sound on the main road that I live on, so I do apologize if there's any noise. But really what I'm seeing here, as well as if you are, some of you are students, the King and the Queen can represent people, and perhaps the Page is you. This could be your mom and dad, or this could be your family, your aunt and uncle, your grandparents that are there also supporting you. So I do have a sense that some of you have a lot of support from your family on this endeavor as well, and they're going to be helping you move through this process. If you do not, I think what another way to read this is that the Page is currently you, but through this process, through this new beginning, through this journey that you're embarking on, you're going to become the King of Swords. You're going to grow in this role. So whatever it is that you're going to be entering into, whether it's a career or a new study or a new skill that you're learning and trying to develop, you're going to grow from it. You have the Page and the King side by side. And to me, this really reads as a journey, a prosperity, a growth process, especially when you're seeing your energies gaining momentum, prosperity, new beginnings, career, the Lovers, 4 of Pentacles. There's really a lot of this energy that is meant to transform you and move you away from a place where you may not have had the financial abundance. You have been in a time of scarcity. You have really not been succeeding in doing what you have previously done. And what is going to instead unfold is you're going to grow and prosper in this new role, in this new career, in this new study. And it is going to help you develop intellectually into a leader, because the King of Swords is an authority figure. It is a leader. So if you're now, I'm also hearing that some of you are coming into this with anxiety. You're like, how will I ever learn this? There's just so much I need to go through. There's so many hurdles I need to clear. There are so many tests and, you know, I guess road marks that I have to get past, drive through and get through, and oh my God, this is going to be so difficult for me. There's going to be so many challenges, but do not worry. That that I guess that inspiration, that light and energy that you have inside of you is going to propel you forward into growth. So if this is a new career, you're going to start out as a bit of a novice, but before long you're going to be in a place of authority. Some of you may climb to the very top of this career. If it is something that you can climb within, you're going to get to the very top of this career. You're going to be an authority figure. And the King of Swords is a very just card. It is a very intelligent, sophisticated, authoritative card. You may be in the legal field. The King of Swords can represent a legal field. It can represent a field where you need to know a great degree of intellectual, mathematical knowledge. So you might be endeavoring into an area where you have to exercise that kind of skill. That's not necessary. It could be any area that requires you to be studious, hardworking, efficient, intelligent, quick. So that doesn't have to be the case, but I feel like some of you are going to be moving into a position and growing within it and really cultivating that, and it is going to be a very great compatible fit for you, pile 5, because I do have the Lovers, and I don't necessarily think that this is a romantic card in this case, but it can be. This can also be a new endeavor where you are going to meet not only your community, not only the people that are going to support you and grow with you, but also a romantic partner. So the Lovers can very literally represent that this new beginning is also a beginning for you romantically, that you are going to meet someone, but most of all, overwhelmingly, it represents this compatibility, that this is a place that you're meant to go. This is divinely guided, and you're going to find your home there, is really what I am sensing for you. And these times of scarcity, these times of financial restraint and conservation, you might still have those times where you have to be a little bit restrained with your spending, but ultimately the goal is prosperity. You are going to get to this prosperity. You are going to have momentum. And although it may be a little bit rough in the very beginning, you have a very steep learning curve, you have a lot to learn, you are going to be successful, because ultimately right here at the center, I have the King of Swords, and it's going to happen. You are going to be a leader and authority figure on this new journey that you're on. And ultimately, I feel like some of you are going to climb to the very top. That is what I'm sensing for you, pile 5. And of course, the Queen of Cups here is reminding us that this place that you're about to endeavor into is also going to have quite a lot of emotional stability. You're going to be supported. And if you have been in positions and careers and jobs and you've been trying to get an education where you haven't felt supported, that is not going to be the outcome here. You are moving towards a place where you are going to be supported, elevated, and permitted to grow while also making mistakes, and permitted to really develop from this Page of Swords energy to a King of Swords energy. You're going to have a wonderful community around you in this new career, on this new journey. So I'm incredibly excited for you, pile 5. Thank you so much as always for coming to sit down with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this reading, and of course in the comments below let me know what other readings you want to see from me in the future, and I would be very happy to do them for you. Thank you once again, and have a beautiful day.